We hear a lot about quantum computing, and there's this idea of a computer so powerful it could literally shatter the encryption that protects, well, everything: our banks, our private messages, our entire digital lives. It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But it's a very real problem that every organization needs to start thinking about today. And the number one question is always, okay, but where on earth do we even start?
Because let's be honest, starting a quantum readiness program sounds absolutely massive. It feels overwhelming. But here's the good news. You don't have to boil the ocean. This huge, tangled challenge can actually be straightened out into a clear step-by-step roadmap. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
So let me just ask you straight up, is your organization ready for this? If you're a CISO, an IT leader, anyone in charge of keeping your company's data safe, this isn't some far-off abstract problem anymore. Hackers are already doing what's called harvest now, decrypt later. They're stealing encrypted data today, knowing that in a few years, they'll have the quantum keys to unlock it. The clock is ticking, loudly. The only way to tackle something this big is to be super pragmatic about it. So, let's walk through a practical 12-month plan. This is a model that a medium-sized company could use, and it's all about turning that daunting challenge into concrete steps you can actually take starting Monday. Okay, so here it is, the whole journey in one shot. It's a phased approach, right? First, you get the official mandate and figure out the scope. Then you dive deep into discovery and prioritization. After that, it's time for some hands-on lab testing. And then, and only then, do you start modernizing your core systems and rolling things out into production. See? It's all broken down into these manageable chunks. Let's dig into each one. So those first 10 weeks are absolutely critical. It's all about laying the foundation, because you can't possibly protect your cryptographic assets if you don't even know what or where they are. This phase is about two things: getting organized from the top down, and then taking a good hard look at what you're actually working with. And you don't wait around, you hit the ground running. The first 2 weeks are all about action. You pull together a crypto steering committee, the key people from IT, security, legal, the works. Then you get an executive to send out a crypto agility policy memo. This is huge, because it shows everyone this is serious. And right away, you define what winning looks like for this year and start classifying your data. Now, a massive part of this discovery phase is creating something called a cryptography bill of materials, or a CBOM. Seriously, think of it like a list of ingredients for your company's security. It is a complete inventory of every single algorithm, key, and certificate you're using. This isn't just a document, it is the cornerstone of your entire program. And just to be clear, this CBOM isn't some nice-to-have suggestion. It needs to be a mandate baked right into that new crypto agility policy. A policy should say something just like this: every system must maintain this inventory. This is how you end the old set it and forget it mindset about crypto and start actively managing it. All right, so you've done your homework. You know what you've got. What's next? Well, now it's time to get your hands dirty. From weeks 10 to 16, you shift from spreadsheets and meetings to practical, hands-on testing in a nice, safe, controlled lab environment. And the whole point here is simple: learning by doing. You're not trying to boil the ocean, remember. The goal is to find all the weird issues and little hiccups on a small scale where it's okay to fail and nothing breaks for real. This is how your team builds real confidence and gets ready for the much bigger challenges of production. And this is the fun stuff, right? This is what your team will actually be doing. They'll set up a test environment, they'll try out a hybrid TLS handshake, which uses both old and new algorithms at the same time, and they'll see what it does to performance. They'll generate their first post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, keys and certificates, and this one's a biggie. They'll see how existing applications react to the much, much larger certificate sizes these new algorithms require. This is where theory crashes into reality. Okay, the lab work is done, your team has some real experience, you're ready for the main event. The entire second half of the year is focused on taking what you've learned and moving it into the real world. This means modernizing your core systems and, finally, deploying your first quantum-resistant solutions. But hold on, you can't just flip a switch and go live. Before you can deploy anything, you have to upgrade the absolute backbone of your security. We're talking about your public key infrastructure, the system that manages all your certificates, and your hardware security modules, the devices that guard your most critical keys. They have to be ready to handle these new PQC algorithms. You're basically getting the supply side ready before the applications start demanding it. So once the infrastructure is ready, where do you start? Well,
you've got a couple of really smart options for your first pilots. You could go for a low-risk, high-reward project like code signing, which has almost no impact on end users. Or you could be a bit more ambitious and tackle an internal system, like securing the connection for a VPN or an internal API. That choice paves the way for all the bigger rollouts to come.
Okay, let's hit the fast forward button. You've made it through the year. After 12 months of really focused work, where does this plan actually leave you? It's so important to pause here and just take stock of the incredible progress that's been made.
In just 12 months, you've gone from basically zero, from a place of uncertainty, to having a tangible, working quantum readiness program up and running. You've taken this scary, abstract threat and turned it into a series of real, concrete achievements. And look at what you've accomplished. You have real governance. Your crypto inventory, that CBOM, is done. Your team has actual, hands-on experience with PQC. Your core infrastructure is on its way to being modernized, and you have your very first production pilots out there running in the wild. And the big one? Your organization is now officially quantum resistant in at least one key area. That is a huge win.
Now, it's super important to remember this plan isn't set in stone. It's not a rigid, one-size-fits-all thing. You can and should adjust the timelines based on your company's needs. The real key takeaway is to have concrete goals for each phase and to fight that temptation to do everything all at once. The mantra is start small, learn fast, and build momentum.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. Following a plan like this gets you quantum ready for today. You've built the foundation, you've started the journey. But this idea of crypto agility isn't a one-and-done project. It's a continuous process. So the real question it leaves you with is this. Now that you've started, what's your plan for tomorrow?